Hey, Shalom, my kings, we call my kapash from GMS London, giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, B'Shem Chachwadash. When they give double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and Shalom out there to the hopeful that's preaching the truth in all sincerity. Right? So, back again with another video. I got this article here from Sky News, and you know, this is showing you, the state of affairs in these nations. This one specifically from the UK, obviously, but in all these different places, people are becoming more and more desperate, more and more willing to take risks, right, to be able to have things, man, because they've been pushed further and further into poverty. Right, we got new information here from the UK that UK is officially in a recession. So these businesses and the growth of the UK is dipping. Right, real wages is diminishing, so people got less in their pockets to have and buy things, right, to sustain themselves with. Energy bill prices are still high. Inflation is still stagnant. Staying at 4% here in the UK. So people are finding it difficult, right, and they resorting to more extreme measures because things are not. And I'll say more extreme just because, things are not as extreme as they're gonna be as times get harder. Right. And so if it's already happened at, this level already in times of relative calm, I'll say it like that, relative calm, when things get real bad, right, these people are gonna go wild, man. Right? Things are gonna get very scary at here. Okay. So let's jump into this article. I've got a couple of scriptures here, to accompany this, right? So it says shoplifting epidemic hits record high, right? So theft is on an all-time high, going to these stores and taking things, shit they can't afford, right? And I see wild shit in America. It might even in the UK as well, but especially in America, definitely in America, right? Where they're just going up into like iPhone stores and Apple stores, right, and just ripping off phones and tablets and all kinds of things from the desks and just walking out there, bro. Ain't no one stopping them. They're just taking shit or running out. Not even running out. They man just casually walking out with fucking tons of shit in their pants, man. It's crazy, right? And no one did anything. No security guard, no police officer did shit. I was like, wow, it's kind of crazy, man. But if that's happening now, and like they probably don't even need that stuff, man. They're just so opportune because like police presence is weak or people ain't gonna do shit. People are becoming unruly out here, man. These times we're living in, people are just becoming unruly, and it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse, man. All right. But anyway, he said shoplifting is at a record hits record high as abuse. Right? Abuse against shop workers also soars, right? So they're getting more aggressive, right? And I don't know, I haven't read this article yet, so maybe there's violence involved. Maybe someone got their hands laid on them. I don't know yet. We'll find out. But abuse is coming with that, right? It's coming with that, man. The more being more aggressive is coming with the shoplifting. Not giving a fuck. And like I said, these guys are taking risks because obviously if they get caught, they go in prison, they go in jail. So, but obviously they feel for whatever the mental state is at, or whatever their home state is like, whatever it is, they feel like it's a risk worth taking. I mean, you got the person here in the picture that they're taking a bottle of wine. You might think, well, they don't need the bottle of wine, but you don't know this person. But they might be just fucked up, man. They need something to calm the pain, to numb the pain that they're going through, but they can't just afford to buy bottles of wine like that and be in that that mind state. So they just go, they steal it because they got to spend their money elsewhere, like paying for electric or paying for food. They got kids or something, petrol, whatever. Certain things come first, but they still need this. They still need the alcohol. They still need the alcohol, man, to calm their nerves or to like I said, subdue that pain that they're going through. Right, so they go and take a bottle or two. No one's looking, right? Bro, UK got tons of cameras everywhere, man. Like, someone's picking you up. But anyway, so yeah, so abuse against workers also saw surveys show. Right, the spate cost retailers about 1.8 billion. Right, so the recession. What was it? Yeah. So officially, UK is in a recession. So these businesses are not turning over as much profit as they should do, because people are not spending as much money because they haven't got as much money. That's why men are stealing. And so growth in the UK is down, right? And they've lost 1.8 billion out of this, because the various situations that are combined, it's having this effect, right? So the record sum, and the first time it has surpassed the 1 billion mark, according to an annual survey by British Retail Consortium, right? So it's gone like, so before it wasn't even a billion, but now it's 1.8 billion, almost 2 billion. It's almost doubled. It's mad, right? And I think it mentions that. So shoplifting has hit a record high with 16.7 million incidents recorded last year, more than double compared with 2022, right? The spate cost retailers 1.8 billion, also a record, and this is the first time it has surpassed the 1 billion mark, according to an annual survey which we read a minute ago. Violence and abuse against shop workers also spiked last year with about 1,300 incidents daily. Wow, right? A rise of 50% from 870 the year before. Okay, so about 8,800 of the total across the year resulted in injury, right? So man's were getting put hands on, Man just trying to do the job, man, getting hands put on them. Right? I'm not gonna play these videos because I know Sky's funny with their content. Right? But you're gonna see shoplifter ransacks co-op, okay, which is like a not a supermarket, but like a local mini market kind of thing, right? Retail staff faced a range of incidents, including physical violence, threats with weapons, racial abuse, and sexual harassment. Shoplifting and abuse come hand in hand, as in November it was revealed as many as 2 in 5 employees faced mistreatment, reported being shouted at, spat on, or hit, especially when confronting the criminals, right? So these people, as I said, are becoming more and more unruly, right? And we're not even in the worst part of this whole downturn, right? This is Esau's end. This is his kingdom at its end, right? And we're not even at the end of it. So as we get closer to that, things are gonna get even worse, and we're not even there yet. You still live life of relative calm here, in the UK or whatever, right? But if this is what's happening now, and it's increasing and doubling and shit, right? Expect it to get more violent, and these numbers to double again, right? Many have considered quitting their jobs or leaving retail work altogether, which obviously won't be good for the industry, right? The industry group, which has thousands of members, including more than 200 major chains, surveyed a sample of retailers representing some 1.1 million employees across the country. Some of the retail survey pointed to this cost of living crisis. Right, okay, so here we go. This is one of the points, right? So you got criminals, yeah, they're gonna see opportunity and do what they're doing. All right, especially when these companies and that they're constantly cutting staff, cutting workforce, and they might not have security there, or they can't afford security. The economy is weak, so all these companies are supposedly, right. These bands still getting mega bonuses, but they'll happily cut staff and whatever to balance their books, to make sure they still get their profits, and so they'll take money from where they can. So they might take it as security, or just staff in numbers, things like this. So these staff exposed, right? So some of the retailers surveyed pointed to the cost of living crisis that led to shoplifters, right? So again, you got criminals, but you also got just regular people that just can't afford to have certain things that they feel that they need, and so they're just gonna go take, right? That led to the shoplifters stealing several items as opposed to one or two, right? So they're taking more because their pockets are being hurt. Like I said, they might have been laid off work. You know, they might be they might have been injured from the whole, you know, pandemic, right? Right, because there's a lot of that going on, right? So they can't go work or they can't do certain things, and you know, lost their job or whatever, you know, whatever the case may be. They can't make the money. Benefits are being cut, so on and so forth, right? Inflation hit a peak 11.1% in October 2022, with people seeing much higher prices for everyday essentials such as food and electricity, right? So I mentioned that. Other retailers said that they had seen shoplifters. So other retailers said they had seen shoplifters were more prone to resort to violence and abuse, and they felt there was a lack of consequences for offenders. Again, mentioned that, right? Because this whole situation that's transpiring, man, is all compounding, you know, and so this is the trajectory that everything is on, right? It's causing these situations to come. It's causing societies to be divided and to be more aggressive, to feel more resent, and you know, because people are down bad, man. You know, you had another thing that happened recently, just the other day, yesterday, I think it was, right? Shooting that there in Texas. Was it Texas? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Texas, with the Super Bowl parade, right? It's causing tension. These things are causing tensions, man, all around the world. And it's, you know, he saw that work here, doing this thing, right? Because it's supposed to cause division. It's supposed to cause chaos, you know, in these different places, man. Because no doubt we're gonna be talking about gun control again. No doubt, you know, over there we'll be talking about that. You know, we're gonna find out where, you know, if there's any motive why the guy, you know, they got suspects. They don't know who did it yet, but you know, why the shooting even happened and whatever. But no doubt, gun control will be on the talks, and in a place where gun controls are, I believe, is fairly loose in Texas, right? Um, so it's all this to cause division and chaos, right? Which is what the elites want, right? So they're causing these situations to come to be, okay? So here's got during the CV, people lashed out at staff due to safety measures implemented in shops, resulting in a number of abuse cases tripling during that period. BRC said the situation had escalated to crisis and criticized the government's woefully inadequate action to combat it. Firms have so they want to come, you know, for them to crack down harder on them, right? It shows you what their intention is to eventually bring in harder, to bring in a stronger hand against people, right? Whether that means, you know, military, whatever. Eventually, there's going to be justifications why, you know, these countries need to bring in a stronger hand to be more rough. Man, like China, you know, just come down and stomp man down. You know, there's all these justifications for that being put out there, right? Because Esau's setting it up for himself, so he can come out, you know, with the devil horns and just come down, cracking down hard on you guys, man, on people in general that are not being compliant. All right. It says firms have attempted to curb the rise of crimes in their stores, spending about 1.2 billion on measures like CCTV, increased security personnel, and body cameras. Right, so they're actually trying to bring more things in, but it's not working. It says criminals given a free pass. Helen Dickinson, the BRC's chief executive, said despite the sums of money invested to prevent crime, violence and abuse against staff was climbing, right? Because it's the times we're in. She added criminals are being given a free pass to steal goods and to abuse and assault retail colleagues. No one should have to go to work fearing their safety. This is a crisis that demands action now. And just to point out, just on the slide note, crisis, the word crisis in Greek means judgment. And this is all part of prophecy. This is all part of the will of the Heavenly Father. These things are materializing because it's going to descend into further chaos, right? Because this place has to become destabilized on a severe level, right? Now you know, they're just statistics and just talking points because things are happening, but this place is about to come severely destabilized, right? Because that is the times that we're in. Okay, it says more than 55 leading businesses, including Sainsbury's and Boots, previously signed an open letter to Policing Minister Chris Philip calling for more police action over the high levels of abuse. The court said it recorded 300,000 incidents of shoplifting, abuse, violence, and antisocial behavior in 2023, an increase of more than 40% on the year before. It urged MPs not to turn their backs on shop workers. Meanwhile, the head of John Lewis said shoplifting had become an epidemic, right? Like throwing that word around, right? With a rise in organized gangs looting stores, okay, which I mentioned that as well in America. So they've agreed to fund police. Companies are expected to pay out about 600,000 towards the project, which will use CCTV images and facial recognition software. Again, so now it boosts the call for using this more sophisticated surveillance, greater surveillance, right? It's all just creating that, you know, that situation where the government's just gonna, you know, I say, crack down and have that greater control. Okay. So it's problem action solution? I think that's the term, right? He's always creating these problems, man, to come in with the solutions, man. You know, and so it looks like he's reacting to something, but really he propagated it. He started it in the first place. Yeah, that was the desired effect. Okay, he's not reacting; he's creating it. Okay. That's pretty much it. I don't know how much is left in here. That's just this bit. All right. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll just open up with this one, right? So this is from Sirach. Sorry, Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 4. And the doors shall be shut. Let's open 3. Let's open 1. Ecclesiastes 12 and 1 says, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not. Right? Like I mentioned, you know, these things are on the increase and are not good, obviously, but we're not in that time of evil just yet. Okay, we're in the evil times, no doubt, but that time of evil is gonna be, you know, is a great evil to come, right? And now's the time to get right with the Lord before the Lord brings, you know, His ultimate destruction on this place. You know. So while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them, while the sun or the light of the moon, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. Right? In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few. Right? So, like I said, people have been losing their jobs out there. There's another you know, UK chain going into administration, the Body Shop. Okay, deals with like health stuff, like oils and whatever, right? Herbal stuff even, I think. But you know, it's a chain here in the UK that's going into administration. So people are going to be, you know, losing jobs left, right, and center, man. You know, it's been happening. We're recovering it, you know. So people are finding it difficult, you know. They're in a bad place right now, right? It says and the grinders cease because there are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the streets. Okay, store closures, whatever, right? When the sound of the grind is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of a bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low, right? So let's say people losing their jobs and finding it difficult and resulting to crime, because that's a known trend, right? Unemployment, the higher the unemployment rate, the higher crime rates are. It's a well-known statistic. All right. It's lucky, right? So, right. It's Revelation chapter 6, verse 5, right? It says, he's going into the horses of the apocalypse, right? And this is the black horse, right? Verse 5 speaks about the black horse. It says here, when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand, right? And this is the kind of time we're living in right now, right? And I saw today recently that Argentina was suffering with inflation at 250%. Now that's a madness, because this place didn't even get close to that, right? But man was still suffering and complaining about about what did we get up to? 11 maybe to 14% or something like that here in the UK with the inflation. But yeah, nowhere near 250%, man. So the man in Argentina are poorer, right? And them man are living in next, living conditions that the majority of people here in England just couldn't get used to, couldn't suffer. They couldn't deal with that, right? Those men are real down bad in poverty. UK's used to a certain standard of living, right? But even these guys here in the UK had to go to the food banks and all that kind of stuff. Couldn't afford their electric bills and government handouts. They would, because they're losing their jobs and stuff. They can't cope. They got families and stuff like. But like I said, man in Argentina, that's another day, isn't it? For a lot of these people out there, imagine if we had inflation at 250%, what this place would be like. It would be, I know, Caracas is not in Argentina, but it'd be like Caracas, and that's one of those murder capitals, man. As in Venezuela, I believe, right? It would be crazy. There's no way these people wouldn't be ransacking every damn thing at 250%. Everything would be gone. There would be nothing left. There would be no economy here, right? These people go wild and yeah. Well, that's what it's gonna be like, though. It's gonna be like that, and we're gonna read it, but it's gonna be like that. Like, this is nothing compared to what it's gonna be like. Imagine, as I said, imagine 250% inflation here. What that would cause people to do. How mad that would send them. And the man are complaining about shoplifting and a bit of bit of abuse and violence and stuff in the stores. But man are gonna be dying, right, left, right, center, through the violence. All right, and these stores won't be able to be open at all. But yeah, so let's read this. Revelation 6:5 says, when he had opened the first seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine, right? And this is basically inflation, man. Reducing your money to pretty much nothing, man. The breakdown of six verse here is basically a day's wages is could only afford you a loaf of bread, essentially, right? Enough food for a day. Your whole wages for the day, like, so whatever you earn, whatever it is, But you imagine, let's just say you earn 100, 200 pounds. I don't know, right? And that's how much your loaf of bread costs. And that maybe not even that. Maybe you won't even be able to get a loaf of bread for that. Because it's supposed to be something that can sustain you, one person, for one day. So you better divide it up throughout the day, and that is what you could afford, and that's how much it's gonna cost you. Right? There ain't gonna be no, I'll put some butter on it, bro. You're not gonna be able to afford no butter, no bread and butter, right? There's no bread and butter, just dry ass bread, right? You better make that last the day, It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be sad for a lot of people, man. Because even though these people, go into food banks and stuff like that, they got more than that. They can afford more than the loaf of bread. They just can't afford to feed their families, because obviously they might have 3-4 kids or something. Big house, big rent pay, mortgage payments or whatever. Big car, payments on the car, and they just can't afford to live because they're in debt. But in this time, ain't nobody gonna be able to afford shit. You'll barely be able to afford to fucking sustain yourself, man. With like I said, your dry bit of bread. Everybody's gonna be in a bad situation, right? And even though inflation's coming down, here it's 4% now, it ain't in double figures and that. Don't worry, because there's gonna come a time again soon that it's it gonna go well above double figures. Like I said, it can happen, and I use Argentina as an example of that. You know, I know this place ain't Argentina, but it don't mean it can't become Argentina, man. It will become Argentina. It will become like these other, places, especially in South America, Mexico. These type of areas where things are just crazy down there. Like we don't understand it. Like unless you're there, you're not really gonna understand it. But from what we see in that, it's just nothing like this. Like how it is here. Like every day is a struggle over there. Like real fight for survival over there, man. It ain't quite like that right here. Right now. You know. Anyway, moving on. Right, so it's Daniel chapter 12, verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. Right? That time of trouble is still coming. Right? It don't matter about, inflation's easing off or this kind of business. It don't matter about that. Okay, these are merely, not like you might be watching charts or something, stocks or whatever, right? Things don't go up in straight lines. Might come down a little bit, go up a little bit, maybe steep a little, come down steep a little bit, all these things, man. But it's still going in a general direction. It's still going, the trajectory is still up, but it's just, there's a path there, isn't it? To get there. So, like the scripture say, when peace and safety, when they should sow peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh. You're not out of the woods. You're getting all the positive talk from these Labour, MPs and whatever, Labour MPs, Tory MPs right now. Talk about how we're dealing with the situation, and it's like we're turning the corner and all that kind of shit. But yeah, it'd be very what they call that, temporary. The worst is still yet to come. And we know this because all these world organizations and things like this, even NATO, right, talking about war, talking about disease X, talking about things that are going to happen in the future that's really just going to fuck up everything, fuck up all this so-called quote unquote progress that these governments have been making from the CV pandemic, and we're coming, there's other things coming. There's always something else coming. There's always another plan, at least got something else in the work waiting to destroy this place, man. And it's going to destroy all the people with it, man, and bring you down into this terrible time that we keep talking about. Okay, it's not over. People think, it's, things are kind of back to normal now. Things are never going to be the same again. Never going to be the same again, man. Look, shoplifting doubling, man. It's like, come on, that wasn't there before. That wasn't normal. When they're getting beat up at the shop and that, man, they're just there to do the job, get paid their minimum wage and stuff, man, and they're getting abuse and shit. Like, what the fuck, man? Things are not normal, man. Things are just getting worse. 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. And at that time shall friends fight one another against another like enemies. Right? Because it's going to be, like I mentioned, it's going to be a real fight for survival out here. And people are just going to turn on each other, man, like fucking animals. That's how bad things are going to get. Right? And the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. All right? So, we'll close out with this. Right? 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and 14 says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. Right? That day of evil is coming, right? And one people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hands, right? Friends, family, all of that. Class wars, race wars, all these types of things are going to be going on because there's division being sold in all these countries. right? And so then at this point, they ain't gonna give a fuck about each other, you know. They're just gonna be concentrating on you know, surviving, you know, them and their families and whatever, right? So they're gonna do, you know, take whatever measures they need to take, you know. It's all right for you know, it's all right for you know, Bibi Netanyahu to, you know, do whatever it takes, right, to get rid of Hamas, right? It just, you know, any man that's in the way must go, right? But that's going to be human nature, man. These people are going to be on that same mode. You know, no matter who's in the way, if they're stopping them, you know, from getting you know, getting things that they need or whatever, then they're dead men. You know, that's what it's going to come down to, man. You know, so it says for there shall be sedition among men, right? And invading one another. They shall not regard their kings or princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power, right? So if these men don't give a crap about the authorities now, like I said, they become brazen and you know, especially these criminal elements, right? These gangs or whatever, they're just going in there taking shit from some stores and no one's doing shit about it. Well, how do you, you know, what would you think is going to go down, you know, in this time, you know, in this time I'm reading about here, you know, more and more people are going to go onto that side, man, because obviously nothing's happening. So more and more people are going to go and do all the violence and all the theft and all that kind of stuff, right? Because it's going to look like these are the only men that are winning right now. The men that are breaking all the rules and the laws and not giving a fuck, their man got shit, you know. But the civilian who's trying to keep the laws and, you know, they're just losing that, man. So they're gonna just go turn, you know, full dark side and just go do what they need to do, man, because they need to feed their families, man. Right? So they're all gonna become lawless individuals, man, and not give a fuck what, you know, governments and, you know, police forces are saying or whatever, man. All right. So they should not regard their kings or princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, right? These are not down these cities, man. That's why they've been developing these 15-minute cities or whatever, right? They kind of want you, you know, sectioned off, man. Okay, put in districts. Right? It says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. Right? So that love, that fake love that these, you know, these so-called Christians and, you know, the world pushes, man. Right? That's gonna disappear, man. You're gonna see that these people don't love each other. Right? So yeah, no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. Right? So if they gotta run up in a house, and, you know, they want to take something that you got, they're just gonna kind of run through, man. Like I said, especially these gangs and whatever, they're gonna run through, man. Right? They're not gonna give a damn, and you know that, and so you're gonna have to go to extremes too. You know, you never thought you'd ever, you know, delete a man before, but now you got to be put in your mind that you're gonna have to delete somebody, man, to protect your family. You might have to delete a bunch of people. You know, we see those post-apocalyptic movies and stuff like that. You got to do some drastic things sometimes, man. You know, and that's the mindset these people are going to be on, man. All right, so this is but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Right, great tribulation is coming, and nothing is a greater sign than that when you can't eat. Right, when you can't afford to eat, or you can't, you know, you don't have access to food, right, and other provisions. Right, that's a major sign. And like I said, you know, in these South American countries, that's what it's be like down there sometimes, man. You know, and there's great violence down there, great horrific violence, man, because they're, man, living in like abject poverty. But that's what it's gonna be like, man. You know, densely populated areas are gonna be the worst places. Okay, that's why I said the cities should be troubled, right? And so you're gonna see all these things, man. And like I said, you're gonna see the rise in these statistics, these numbers. You're gonna see the rise in the violence. right? As you know, provisions is decreasing. You know, money or real wages is decreasing. You're gonna see all these things, man. All right. All right, that's what I got for this lesson. Slow witness has been edifying, and I'll catch you brothers and sisters on the next video, man. So till next time, I say shalom.